The whole brewing process itself is my favorite part of being in the field of brewing, but especially the stuff where I get to lift heavy things and feel really strong. So before I went into the brewing field, I had planned on going into history. I went and got a bachelor's degree in history thinking I would be a teacher. And then I got to the education classes and decided that that was not for me. Like, I love making people happy, and I love beer, and beer makes people happy. So why not put the two together? And really, I just dove headfirst into it. I went to beer college, just out of the blue. Realized after the fact that, oh, I guess I do like science, which is a huge part of beer. So it worked out pretty well. So first, we start with grain. That is a big part of beer. It's one of the four main ingredients. You got your grain, your water, your yeast, and your hops. So we start with our grain, and we essentially mill it to a certain size based on what type of grain it is, and we mill it into a big box called a grist case. From the grist case, it is lifted up into the mash kettle, where it's sprayed with hot water to sort of make an oatmeal-like soup substance that just is full of sugar, full of starchy sugars, that we then heat to certain levels to deactivate them as they're breaking apart, those enzymes, to get the right amount of sugars that the yeast can eat or that they can't eat. From the mash kettle, you then go over to the lauter tun, which is basically the most expensive colander you've ever seen. It strains out the liquid from that oatmeal and puts it into what's called the wort kettle, and that liquid is called wort. So in the wort kettle, it is brought up to a boil, at which point we add hops or any other ingredients that may need to go into that part of the process. We boil it from anywhere from 60 to 2 hours, depending on the style. After it's done boiling, it's had all its hops added to it. We then send it over to the whirlpool, which is exactly what it sounds like. We spin around the wort until the solids present in the wort cone up into a mass in the center, so that when we transfer it into the fermenter, the solids stay away from the liquids as much as possible. During the whirlpool, we may also add another hop addition, but once it's had its time in the whirlpool, we cool it down through a heat exchanger and send it to the fermenters. And from there, the yeast do their job, do all the work, get none of the glory, and make beer.